back to the Unsettled. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe, like the video,
hit that notification bell for up and coming videos, specials.
So obviously you would have clicked this video for one reason only, and that is the fact we're now discussing the Servant Girl Annihilator. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. So this is America's Jack the Ripper. Don't hate me. And we know how well our channel does with Jack the Ripper.
Oh yes.
So if you haven't seen our Jack the Ripper videos, click back, go have a look. They do really well on this channel. And it seems to be a popular subject matter for us, which we'll delve into later. You ready for my whimsical words of wisdom? Or history, in this case?
Gallop on, sir. Gallop on.
Gallop on, I shall. 3 years before good old Jack the Ripper tore at Whitechapel's heart in London.
Oh, the writing. Oh.
There was a killer, a shadow, watching over Austin, Texas.
Oh, Austin.
Known as the Servant Girl Annihilator. Sounds like something you buy in the supermarket, to be fair, doesn't it? I want a Servant Girl Annihilator. I've heard it does magical things.
That's definitely Americanism to the max, isn't it? Like, we've got Jack the Ripper. They've got the Annihilator. Wow. Okay.
The Bug Extermination Crew.
I am the Annihilator. And you're like, okay.
It does seem a bit overspent. Not gonna lie. Seems like a really shit horror
shadowy
movie.
Ripper killer that, you know, and then creeps up at you at night. This one just steps out and shoots you away with a fucking 12-bore shotgun.
So, history rarely discusses these cases in the same breath.
No, but we do often.
But could the culprit behind these brutal murders be one of the same?
It could be. We have made links that he went away to America and came back.
I'm going to make the biggest link in history. Well, it's not just me. I'm sure other people think it. But I, on this channel, will make a big link.
Okay.
So, local papers began to dub the Texas killings as the Servant Girl murders. The name described the occupation of African American women employed for domestic help. These were mainly the victims, African American women. Okay? The first killing occurred on December the 30th, 1884. When Molly Smith was assaulted in her home, she was attacked with an axe while she slept and later dragged from her bed to the backyard, where she was savagely raped and murdered. Walter Spencer was also attacked but survived the attack.
Okay. So obviously if this was linked, then it would be a precursor.
Ready?
Okay.
Over the next year, the sinister force that was now plaguing Austin, Texas, prowled the streets, claiming the lives of 6 more women and 1 man, while injuring 7 more.
Okay.
Seems like he was out there for blood. Right. One question. How could a killer leave behind so many victims alive and yet avoid capture? Right. All attacks happened while the victims slept.
Okay.
Doesn't seem that bad.
No.
Seems like a good way to do it though. If you're going to kill someone. Just saying. 5 of the women, including Molly Smith, were dragged outside, raped and killed. Sexual assault was a recurring theme, as was the murder weapon. Many of the victims were attacked by an axe.
Okay.
Questionable?
There's a lot more ways that you could do it. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, the axe was often left behind.
Okay, now that's weird.
Okay. Dubbing the killer a man, but the Axeman of Austin. Right. Many of the women were severely mutilated.
Which you can imagine.
With many accounts, with many accounts saying the bodies were posed and positioned in such a way it became the signature fashion.
Okay.
Right. Also, the use of a sharp object inserted into the ears of the victims.
Like an ice pick or something.
Yeah, usually a screwdriver into the ear.
Okay.
Right. Despite
Maybe they got screw loose. I don't know what the axe played though, but
he was just chopping his penis. He was hard as wood. Despite the similarities, many wasn't convinced it was just the same killer.
Right.
Many thought it was possibly a group, or
sort of like a cult.
maybe.
Sort of like a cult.
I think this is where things go a bit skew-whiff, to be fair. Right, so eyewitnesses said the man was white. Other witnesses said he was black. Next witnesses were saying he was yellow.
So he's got jaundice.
Yeah, that's it, America. You can't find the killer that's got jaundice. Who's yellow? We had trouble finding Jack the Ripper.
We haven't found Jack the Ripper. Maybe he just went to America, got pissed and started killing people with axes and screwdrivers.
Right, it gets better. Some said he wore a hat and a cloak.
Okay.
Okay. Others said a maid's dress. So you're looking for a
you've
yellow
got a
maid
cross-dressing murderer that drinks a lot.
who's got jaundice.
And who's got,
Or liver issues.
Liver issues.
Yeah.
Who then kills people with axes and screwdrivers.
It gets better.
Leaves the axes and screwdrivers, so he's got to go to a surplus place to stock up back up again.
He's probably using their axes. Got a better. It gets better. It gets better. Honestly, it gets better.
Oh, this is okay.
Right. Many even credited
An eye patch.
no to this person having superpowers and could turn invisible or turn into a dog.
So we're looking for
To
evil
avoid capture.
Superman.
To avoid capture. It's funny. It's funny. The eyewitnesses are great. Like top
So we're
notch.
looking at like
Okay, right. Scrap all
an
that.
evil Batman who's got like loads of
Weapons. Whose liver issues or
who
jaundice.
drinks a lot because of the split personality syndrome that he seems to have.
Dresses up as a man or a woman at weekends. Who knows?
Oh wow!
Right,
And this
but-
is linked, is it?
You'll see why. The key point to notice is most of the accounts said
medically trained.
he wore a slouched hat and a cloak.
Okay,
Right.
that makes more sense.
It was also classed.
Because definitely in the 1800s.
It was also classed as an epidemic of murders.
An epidemic? Ooh, really that bad? An epidemic?
400 men was arrested in connection to these sadistic murders.
They do go bigger in America. Like, oh, I'm not settled with one killer. Let's drag 400 men in the local area.
All of them jaundice. May as well bring the dogs in at
Straight
this
from
point.
the bar.
Get the dogs from the shelter, get them in for questioning. But there was only one conviction.
Okay.
Right, James Phillips, the husband of the last victim, was convicted of killing his wife on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but that's just one murder out of all of them.
Alright. I was thinking maybe she bought him a shit present and he thought, fuck you, you're
I've
dead.
already got screwed over set. Why have you bought me another axe?
Why have I got a maid's dress? You're shit. Oh, you bought me a dog. Great.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Okay, we got a bit too raw on that one, but
Okay.
okay.
His defence in court said it was a Servant Girl Annihilator, but it was overturned. So he
Well,
did
obviously
actually.
he
yeah,
tried
did.
to blag it.
Yeah, he tried. So who was this killer? Someone who targeted women, brutally mutilated and posed them, let alone used tools to get the job done.
Yeah.
Right. Many said it was a 19-year-old Nathan Elgin. He was a cook with a missing toe on his right foot. It gets worse.
He dropped the axe.
It's worse.
He dropped his axe.
Oh shit.
He tried to fix it with a screwdriver.
Right. It was,
Slipped and killed his mum. What the fuck?
yeah, the missing toe on his right foot.
Okay.
That matched a bloody footprint left at one of the crime scenes.
Okay.
Right. A fact police didn't actually tell the public.
Right.
They didn't tell the public that there was a bloody footprint and there was a toe missing.
Mm.
And that could have just been where the blood didn't touch the toe. I'm not gonna lie. It could have been a bit worn. That's a bit of a far-fetched hit. Right.
It just so happened to match this poor old kid.
Who's 19 years old and a cook. Right, Nathan dragged the girl out of a saloon and to a nearby house where he began to assault her with a knife. The saloon keeper and police gave chase, then shot Nathan, killing him at the scene.
Okay.
That doesn't really say a lot.
That doesn't link him with
doesn't at all.
5 others.
Others now believe that the secret information the police kept show large similarities to Jack the Ripper 4 years later.
Okay.
Right.
Sort of like a as I said, a precursor.
It was 4 years before Whitechapel happened, right?
So he's grown up a bit.
Possibly. But we have to take
He's learned new techniques.
We have to take into account he fixed on female targets.
Yeah,
that's sexual assault.
One similarity.
Sexual assault.
Second, maybe.
Mutilation of the body.
Yes, but in different ways.
Okay, corpse posing.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one. That's 3.
Okay. The speculation continued. Many was never convinced a 19-year-old could do such the killings.
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
There's some mental kids out there.
Especially after the attempt in the saloon in front of people, whereas his victims were asleep. It seems he targeted two different. Don't see similarities. In 2003, after reading some secret information the police kept, author Shirley Harrison points out that the Servant Girl Annihilator and Jack the Ripper were the same person. James Maybrick, he did appear in our little thought process. Right?
Yeah, he did.
Right? Who often travelled from Austin, Texas for personal business. Right?
Yeah, well, we've discussed and gone through.
Maybrick's wife poisoned him in 1889. Weirdly enough, there was no Jack the Ripper after that.
True.
Right, okay, just bear this in mind.
No.
Author Shirley Harrison insists James committed the murders in Austin, Texas and travelled back to England. She produces James Maybrick's journal notes to show dates and times. James entered Austin the same dates the murders took place for the Servant Girl Annihilator. Okay.
Yeah, well, it vaguely remembers. Didn't he admit that he killed?
Oh yeah.
When when he died.
Over the years,
before he died.
Over the years, many soon began to look at the same cases with new eyes. So basically, look at the two cases and go, "Hang on, wait. The possibilities are endless." And with cases of the Servant Girl killings stopping suddenly, then Jack the Ripper begins. Right?
Yeah, but it's okay.
I have to say, reading the brutal killings of the Servant Girl Annihilator, the fact one girl was surrounded by so much blood her body was looking like it was floating across the floor, reminded me of Mary Jane Kelly.
Okay.
Right. Also, another suspect I looked up was a cook called Maurice. After 2 killings happened in Austin, Texas near the hotel. Oh sorry, all but 2 killings happened near where he worked in the hotel. Maurice left town in 1886/87. He travelled by ship to London. This puts him in Austin and London for these killings, right?
Yeah.
Could he have eaten
parts? Maybe.
Could he have eaten parts of the Whitechapel women, which they never found, and cooked them? He's a cook. He left Austin. The Servant Girl Annihilator stopped. Whitechapel began.
Okay.
Right. James Maybrick's journal is interesting. He talks about killing women and prostitutes, but the only thing I find is very fame hungry is the fact he signed the journal Jack the Ripper. It's like, at the time, we know many people dressed up as Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, and ran around the streets of
They
London.
faked a lot of it. Is it possible James Maybrick's journal is more fictional based? That he could have been the Servant Girl Annihilator Jack the Ripper, or are we gonna go?
See,
I love looking at you like this from this angle where you're stumped.
Well, no, it's like I would assume that, like, for myself personally, the 2 lots of murders are so totally different.
Maybe.
Like they're not completely different, but like the murders out here with the axes and the screwdrivers. This is why it makes so much.
Hey, maybe he couldn't get hold of a good knife.
Yeah, but you'd still have some sort of okay. In England, he was known as the butcher, like
the leather apron. Yeah.
So it could be some sort of transgressional stage in between him
learning his craft.
Yeah, like going to all these medical journal places and doing his own study, basically. But then to go from actual brutal killings to then very precise, knowing what you're taking, ritualistic in aspect.
Okay, I get you. So basically, he drags them out of bed, brutalises them in this fashion.
Yeah.
And then he goes to.
Where does he jump from that to just taking a heart or an ear or
cutting out the womb? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How does he go from brutally to very precise?
Okay.
Like.
I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
There's a bit of difference.
Yeah, but it's more of like the most brutal aspect.
If we were going to say it was James Maybrick,
see now, the research that we did with Jack the Ripper, we went back, like we went through quite a lot of assessments. Now James Maybrick, when he was poisoned on his deathbed, did admit to killings. What gets me is maybe he wasn't talking about the Jack the Ripper killings. Maybe he was talking about
the Servant Girl Annihilator.
Yeah, more
Annihilator
killings.
Yeah,
where he's regressing and he knows he's dying. And
despite there are similarities to this, and
they are good. They are good similarities.
I did obviously write this out. How we're discussing it. It seems that African women in America were a target for this one person. So therefore, the suspects of a cook or whatever, it doesn't. Or the 19-year-old, it doesn't make sense. It seems more of a racial attack to brutalise them. Yeah. Right. And
like you're like back then, obviously you had all the slave aspect. Of
You see what I mean?
They were
it seems more of a.
It was a racial slur rather than.
It seems more. Yeah,
it was targeted.
It also seems like no one's going to care about this coloured woman as much as they would a white person back then. No. Do you see what I mean? True. So he would happily go to town on these, and then maybe go to England and be like, right, now I'm going to move on to prostitutes.
Like we had the same. Like England at the time had the same view of prostitutes and night callers, and they were lesser than less. We didn't care about them. They didn't.
It could be.
They'd gone unnoticed, basically.
It could be possible that there is links, possibly to James Maybrick, but maybe not as James Maybrick being Jack the Ripper, but maybe just being a Servant Girl Annihilator, going to a different town, killing a coloured woman, but then coming back to London.
But then think of it this way, right? So you had like the lates and greats. They all had this hidden cult.
You think it's cult, don't you?
I reckon they were in some sort of group.
You reckon the Servant Girl Annihilator was a group? Or you reckon serial killers were a group?
Serial killers of a time.
Okay.
Within a group.
You reckon they all knew each other and met up at weekends?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Every Saturday in the 10 Bells pub.
Well, there we go. One for the right. Yeah, right. She's alright.
I get what you mean. But to me,
you had this hidden group. Yeah. Like, not necessarily. It might be like 6 or 7 people. But like, see, it's basically like a conspiracy theory.
Like a Facebook group.
Not no, it's like a group of people will meet up and discuss their trials and tribulations about the specific thing that they're interested in.
Oh, I killed 6 African women. Who have you killed? 7 prostitutes.
Yeah, but I did it in this way.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to go back to Texas and do that. It seems like it was more of a racial attack, but the links are there.
The links are there. I'm not going to say that there's not
the killing
some
stopped
coincidental links. But
the killing stopped for the Servant Girl Annihilator. And then a year later,
Jack the Ripper. But then Jack the Ripper only spread his over 3 months, and then he disappeared.
Which then would tie in James Maybrick with his death.
Or the group of Killers are like, right, okay, it's someone else's turn. We've done our bit and got away with it. Maybe it's your turn now, and that's a serial killer that we haven't even found yet.
Maybe. It seems like back then in America, though, you could literally kill people and get away with it, and they pretty much did.
It's the same worldwide, really. Like,
yeah, but it seems in America that there's more population.
There is more population. It's spread over more land, like a wide range of. You know, it's like what, 3 times as big as England, something like that. So that'd be
bigger than that.
Well, yeah,
that's got to be. But there's ties.
There is ties, and
it's a strange tie because it's the thing about the whole thing is the fact it finished there, and then all of a sudden it begins in London. And the posed bodies, sure, there might be people out there that have the same fetish. Hey, I'm going to pose your body in a sexual way. Police are going to look at it and be like, who would do such a thing? Maybe. It
or maybe he had an apprentice.
Yeah. You know who the apprentice was?
Jack Ripper.
No. The Axeman begins, and then Mr. Tiny Screwdriver accompanies the Axeman around Austin, Texas, and then he goes off and helps him. I'm just thinking of the axe and the screwdriver, friends, to be honest.
What do you guys think? Leave a comment below.
Yeah, please do. Is there links to James Maybrick? Is this a big linker, more or less, to the bigger crime of Jack the Ripper?
Or do you think there is a different, big, dark occult
You're just throwing that
gathering?
Seriously, you just threw that at them.
Yeah, but it's...
You're making out like Ted Bundy and everyone are friends.
Wouldn't surprise me, mate. Would not surprise me. There's hidden organisations everywhere.
I'm not getting into it. I'm not. I'll be banned. I'll be banned.
We'll see.
So yeah, drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have subscribed, thanks for doing so, and thanks for staying with us. As you said, notification bell so you can see all our upcoming videos, because we're going to be more consistent. We're going to try and deliver more content in different ways as well. So yeah, please drop a comment below. Let us know what you were thinking throughout this whole case, whether it was more of just a random attack, or the links are there to Whitechapel. Like, is there something? Is there a piece of information that everyone's missing throughout the whole Jack the Ripper case? It seems like everyone knows what happened, everyone knows how, but no one knows that little bit of icing on top that would seal it. And that seems to be the ongoing process with every single fucking unsolved case. No one knows that bit of icing. But then we're not baking the cake here, we're talking about death. So, yeah. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.